Barbados is 166 square miles. Today, however, we'll be working with 2 of those miles. 2 Mile Hill, the band, that is. I'm your host, Rashid Holder, and this is Positive Pulse. Today we'll be speaking with none other than band leader and bass guitarist for 2 Mile Hill the band, Mr. Clarke. You tell me to you tell me to Yeah, I was just, I was just tuning a bit. Yeah, my vocals. Nah, I ain't a pro yet. Professional amateur maybe. Welcome, Chris. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So tell me, Mahalia's Corner, like 2 Mile Hill the band, and you weren't always 2 Mile Hill, so give me a little backstory.
All right, so we were initially Next Six. So, well, we had a name before that, but that's not important.
That's history of history.
When we became official, we were Next Six, right? And during that period, the band, we were creating the band sound. It was like party-oriented band, big sound, etc. But Mahalia has an artsy side that people didn't necessarily know existed. And she wanted to show that artsy side. And so she and Andre, our keyboardist at the time, created the idea of Mahalia's Corner.
Okay, so tell me a bit more about how Mahalia's Corner, developed over the years, because it grew, as you say, from, I guess, what we would consider to be an intimate setting into a full-scale production that allows for artists and creatives to, express themselves. It actually provides a space for them, right?
Yep. So in the beginning, it was a very artsy, very rootsy sort of vibe. Truth be told, it still is, but as you said, there are more production elements associated with the more recent versions of it. But in the very beginning, it was very free and very flowing. And it was in Bump and Wine, big up Alan Shepard, because he is the person who allowed us to start the idea in his location. Unfortunately, Bump and Wine doesn't exist anymore. But we started in there, and the idea and the vibe started to grow. Popularity started to grow. People started to come out. At one point, artists that would come in, because in those days, this is years ago I'm talking about, when we had Jazz Festival, artists that would come to Jazz Festival perform, if they're here on the Tuesday that we would have Mahalia's Corner, they would be in there.
Yeah.
So like one time Barris was in there, so breezy.
Uncle Barris?
Uncle Barris is in corner there, so this is vibes, We had Telvin Campbell in there. Several other artists would have passed through over the years. But anyhow, the popularity grew and more people got interested in the idea and the project that we had. And we sort of outgrew the space.
Yeah.
Because, Bump Point was a small club.
Yeah.
Right? So we then moved. We moved again as we outgrew that next spot. And we outgrew that next spot. And then the first time we really hit capacity was when we were at the Hilton. And we had all 3 rooms. And we sold that show out. And we had to close the doors on people. And there was a line snaking from the entrance all the way into the car park. Almost done by guard hut. It was ridiculous. And we're like, okay, so we got to do something else. And that's where we then got to LESC, Lord Erskine Center. And that's when we were able to then do the big productions that people know as Mahalia's Corner, with the lighting and the sounds and the
full-scale production.
Yeah.
Tell me what kind of triggered the need that you or the band saw to have Mahalia's Corner, as a means for persons within the creative industry to express themselves?
Well, it started with Mahalia's love of poetry and love of open mic sessions, and at the time there were none. All the ones that she used to frequent when she was coming up, when we were in university, those no longer existed. And so we felt like we fill this space with this thing. But then we realized that we actually had a platform that people were interested in, and we wanted to share that platform with up-and-coming artists, give them a shot at the spotlight, essentially.
Yeah.
Let them come and show their thing on stage, and let people then see, oh, that person's really cool. And we've had quite a few people come through the corner that they really made a name for themselves in their Shean would have been one of the major ones that we had.
A favorite of
hit,
mine, for sure.
she hit real hard. We actually, she was a spotlight. We have a section called the Spotlight Artist where we put the spotlight
Literally.
literally on a young artist, upcoming artist.
Yeah.
And we gave her that spotlight and she smashed it.
Yeah.
Like, totally killed that performance.
Was she not spotlight artist at least twice, if I'm not mistaken? Like, I'm sure that she would have.
She would have performed in the open mic
before,
right. But the actual spotlight artist, when
Correct.
we came up with
Okay.
the concept,
Right.
she only did that once. And then off of that performance in September, we actually had her as the Christmas artist. That's probably what you're thinking of.
Yeah, you ranked
and
to
she
both.
was the featured artist at the Christmas corner. And a lot of people didn't know who she was. And we sold the show based on what she did in the Spotlight Artist.
Correct.
And, you know, it was really, really well attended.
So, as you would have alluded to earlier, Mahalia's Corner has grown over the years. And, you know, can you tell me what impact you've seen, be it from an artist perspective or just from, you know, putting on the event itself, that it has had on the cultural industry here in Barbados?
I think the corner has helped in several different ways. One of them is that we give artists a space to flex their muscles and show what they're about, and it gives them the popularity to get eyes on. Like, we have a very attentive audience. People that come to the corner just love music.
Yeah.
They love music and love vibes. So they ain't the bad vibes with their talk.
I've been to the corner. That's some
real good vibes.
Yeah, real good vibes.
So whatever you bring, they are ready to receive, right? And as an artist, you go in that space, a safe space for you to express yourself.
Yeah.
And so people feel at home on the stage. And that's what we want, which is why the stage actually looks like a living room.
Yeah.
Because we welcome you into our living room. Come have a seat, put your foot, and enjoy yourself, sort of vibe, right? So we give artists the opportunity to do their thing, and that's one of the main things we wanted. Something else, we are able to then work with them. So we would have learned a lot of stuff over the last couple of years. We started playing music in 2004.
Yeah.
Right? That's a lot of years of doing this thing. Actually,
that's about 20 years now. Yeah.
We actually started the same year as Mikey, fun fact. Anyhow, we were doing our thing at UE, and he was doing Come Together. Anywho, so we've learned a lot of things over the years, and when we invite people into our space, this rehearsal space, we then give them the nuggets of knowledge that we would have picked up. So we are pretty much paying it forward, because a lot of people had time for us when we were coming up as little people, right? So now that we are seasoned musicians and we know a lot of things, now we share what we have with the youth, well, up and coming artists, because not necessarily youth, there's some older people as well, that we share the knowledge with and information. We also have a lot of groups that form as a result of things happening in the corner. I remember, was it Iron Sharpen Iron? With DJ Simmons and Wesu and Sunrock and those guys.
Yeah.
They had pretty much come together and they started their own vibe after Mahalia's Corner, sort of thing. You know? So we see a lot of things like that happen, and people are then inspired to put on their own shows.
Yeah.
You know, and we in turn support them in their endeavors. Whenever we try our very, very best. Literally the only time we don't go to somebody else's show is if we really can't make it.
Yeah.
And we either have an engagement or time with the kids, right? But generally speaking, we support artists' initiatives, and that's what it's all about. You know, we try to help teach a man fish.
Yeah.
You know, and when the man go fishing, then we gonna support you with fishing.
Yeah, and buy some fish.
All
right. In terms of the, I would say, social responsibility as a band within the local creative industry, you know, what are your plans, or what are the plans in terms of giving back? You know, how do you give back? Where do you see yourself within, you know, this scope?
So one of the big things for me is education of artists on how to do certain things, because a lot of times you hear artists getting a lot of blows from radio or talking heads, essentially discussing the pitfalls that they encounter, and to help them figure those things out, because we have a lot of knowledge that we're willing to share.
Yeah.
The same way as I said, people helped us when we were coming up, we won't pay it forward. So one of the main things that we would like to do in the very near future is to have a workshop, a free workshop attached to the corner. So the corner is normally on a Sunday. So let's say for argument's sake, the Saturday or the Friday before, the artists are welcome to come. You sign up for it and you come, and we teach you stuff.
Yeah.
We have a panel and we invite different speakers and so forth. So we have a very comfortable and relaxed learning space where they then can ask whatever questions they feel they're asking, as it pertains to where they are on their journey as an artist.
Yeah.
That's one of the major things that we have, we're trying to put in place. Socially, we tend to get involved in lots of charities associated with youth. That's a big thing for us, helping the youth, because we have I don't want to say we have a big problem, but some youth are neglected and they fall by the wayside.
Yeah.
And we as a society, we have to do better. So with our partner Shafet, we actually, well, again, pre-pandemic, we used to go a lot into the schools and talk to the kids and do different sessions. Recently, we did a reading week with Frosties, and I was really happy because that's like the first one since the pandemic, essentially, where we were able to go back with the kids like face to face.
Yeah.
And I miss that because that's important, you know. Those kids remember when you go to their school and you have a vibe with them and you talk to them and take pictures and give them a little high five.
Yeah.
Kids remember that, and it's not anything that you have to take off your chest to do it.
Correct.
You know, it's just showing a kid that you care, sort of thing, and have time for them, and that goes a long way. It inspires lots of kids to follow their dreams. You know.
Yeah, and I guess in a different way as well, because normally we would push, or we've been prone to push the academic side of things a lot.
Yeah. And everybody's an academic, right?
Correct. And even in terms of, you know, the direction that some person's life can go.
Yeah.
If you are not, let's say, academically inclined, and you kind of get pushed to the wayside, or the focus isn't on you in that regard, at least they know that they have, you know, some place. A space that, you know, is provided for them to express themselves a little differently. I'm a young person, or young-ish person, with aspirations or dreams of getting into music, getting into the creative industry, and I see Mahalia's Corner, and I see you guys doing your thing. I want to be like you. How do we make the connection there? How does that happen?
Well, if you want to get involved in what we're doing, you can easily drop us a line on one of our socials. Just search for Mahalia's Corner on all platforms. We're there. You can also send us an email, mahaliascorner@gmail.com, and drop us a line and let us know that you're interested in getting involved. Because there's a lot to do with a production like that. And so we are more than happy to help young people coming up interested in getting involved. Give them like a little idea on what's supposed to happen and be part of the process.
Yeah.
Kind of like an internship, but you can get paid for it. I feel like if internships are free, but I only get paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I might need some guidance on, you know, how to really get in tune with this guitar here. But I want to thank you for joining me today on Positive Pulse. It really has been, you know, an enlightening session.
I want you to sing me out. Come. Sing me out. Emerton, there we go.
Okay, let's go. You tell me to forget, boom, boom, that my grandmother was born right here. So on the pulse, we getting down low.
That's two.
Mahalia's Corner, Positive Pulse. I'm your host, Rashid Holder, and we've been tuned in today with Chris Clarke, bass guitarist and band leader for Mahalia's Corner, the band.
All right.
Sorry.
You said.
Do that again. I shall go.
You will go.